Welcome, folks, one and all, to Let's Play the Stanley Parable. Developed and produced by Galactic Cafe, it was originally a Half-Life 2 mod that was made in 2011, and was later greenlit in 2012 to be a standalone game that was released in 2013 for the PC. The Stanley Parable is an interactive storytelling game, or as I like to call it, a first-person Stanley game, an FPS. Because you're in the first person, and you may in fact take control of a person called Stanley. And as the game is helpfully informing us, we are playing the Stanley Parable. Apart from seeing the introduction and accidentally getting an ending for when I was checking the sound levels, I have not played this game at all. And I actually haven't watched anybody play this game either. I'm not quite sure how I avoided seeing any footage of the game, but playing the game, I bought it a long time ago, about maybe a year ago, and I kept thinking to myself, I'll play that at some point, and I never got round to it. So folks, let's get round to it, shall we? The only thing I will say before we start, I did check the sound and everything, is that I've got subtitles on, by the way. I've got an achievement for turning on the achievements. I also got an achievement for loading the game back up the second time I loaded it up. I do have saves enabled, purely because, just in case I need to stop recording at any point, I can save. So, without further ado, let us begin the game! Actually, there will be further ado, because there is an infinite selection of screens here. The screen leads to a screen, which leads to a screen. If only I could click these buttons and it would activate them. That would be really interesting. But, technically I am, but I can't do it here, which would be fun. So, without further ado, let us begin the game! The end is never is loading. You could read that many different ways. I actually hesitated there when I was reading it. There is a narrator, and he shall do the talking first, and we'll see what the narrator has to say. If, that is, the game ever loads. You haven't even got past the old little loading bar. Come along, game. You can do it. I believe in you. Hopefully Stanley believes in you too. Maybe. Never the end is loading. Indeed. Oh, we've got past the D now. We're nearly at the I. Come on, game. You can do it. It will do it. And then it doesn't load and another ending is triggered. There are a lot of endings, apparently. Here we go.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Hello, Stanley.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
That's handy.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
What a job.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order.
Sounds easy.
This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending,
I would.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Well, that's good.
And Stanley was happy.
That's good too.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Uh-oh.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Uh-oh.
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Oh, no.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
Uh-oh.
Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
Oh dear.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Now, partway through that last dialogue option. There was no option there. There was only the option of listening or not. You gain control of Stanley. That clock, I noticed, actually moves. You can keep an eye on those hands on the clock, and they move. That's really cool. Also, here is a keyboard. Can I type in it? I don't know. Maybe? You can't jump. You can, however, crouch. And also, I think Stanley hates Mondays, and has a really big pencil sharpener. Really big pencil sharpener. You can get smaller pencil sharpeners than that. So, the first ending I accidentally figured out is, there is the door, and the exit beyond. And here is the discrepancy I found. The picture on the main menu that was here is actually there. Who knows what that may be the reason for? Who knows if those words are even in the right order? So, the first ending I found is, you could not go outside.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Yep.
What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait.
Yep.
Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy.
Yay!
Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell.
Oh well.
But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon,
Yep.
Very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
And that's an ending. You can just decide that Stanley's not going to accept any responsibilities, or show any initiative, and just not go out. But if we don't do that, we won't see the rest of the game, so let's go out. We are now outside the office. We could go back in the office, but let's not. Let's shut the door. Can't open it from there. So, as indeed the narrator said, all these doors have nobody on the other side. There is the person who works at 249. We can't see the person at 248. There were filing cabinets and various things in there. We can't do anything with them. We can't turn on the lights, or off the lights either. And there's nothing particular here.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Well, let's see if we can find anything around the various cubicles. Maybe they're all hiding under the table. Well, they've left the photocopier in a state. Nope, nobody here. There is nobody here at all. Oh, I am now standing on a table. That seems silly. Let's have a look here. Nope, doesn't seem like there's... Ooh. Oops. Did I mean to do that? Well, I don't think I did, but I did it. I doubt that's gonna make any difference. Hey, this person has 2 cups. Uses one of them to store a pen. That's handy. I can't open any of them. At all. Well, maybe there's something we can do here. Oh, okay, we can get on the table. We can't get over, though. Oh, we can! Oh, look! There's a window here. Do we go in? No, it's open. You know what? Let's see what's on the other side of the light glowiness of light. Ooh. Oh. Oops.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Phew!
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
Ah!
So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Am I sick of this gag yet? No!
Ah, then in that case we'll continue.
Okay.
But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Probably.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected Continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
Oh.
Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Yay! I'm stuck in an oblivion of white space. What if I press this? Oh, you can't press it here. Well, I do in fact think that we need to begin the game again, for we are stuck here forever. Well, there we go. That wasn't an actual ending, though, I don't think. But we are in fact going to see what's
All
happening.
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
It could mean that
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
maybe he had.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
You know what? I'm going to leave that screen on this time. So, we go. How do we get up here again? There's a lot of sound coming from there. Maybe it's because I went through it the first time. Well, let's see if I can... there we go. Almost up. There we go. I'm up. And now, let us see what the other thing has to say. Thud.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Yes, it is.
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Okay.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Let's this time say yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want.
Oh.
Like right now.
Oh.
You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate.
They are.
I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Go on, then. Alright, let's see how you do this.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way. But his brain had long ceased to function.
Oh.
Which is why he is in this parable, and lives an existence quite terrible.
Oh.
And if you are not strong, and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. You too will become quite unbearable.
Nice song. He's not bad at playing. I wonder how long this goes on for. That's a good question. Potentially a while. I think it's looping. Yep, I think it's in fact looping. We'll let it go one more time, just to be sure. You never know. It might not be, but I think it's looping. It's not! Aha! It wasn't. Oh, wait. I think it is. I think it's looping. Let's begin the game again, shall we? Oops. So, here we are. Again. Again. But it's okay, because we're not going to go out that window. We'll shut the... Oh. We'll get stuck in the door, actually. So, we found the white space beyond the window.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Also, there's a box of cups. Well, let's move on to this door here.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I think it's time to, we'll turn all these off, you know, save some electricity for the company. So, let's move on. Ooh, what a nice view. Can't shut this door, though. Can we open this one again? Yes, we can. It opens both ways. Very handy. Alright. Still nobody here, though. We can't open these doors. Ooh. There's one that's on there. Username? Nah, we'll turn that off. What have we got here? Operating system? We'll turn that off. Can't go in there either. I'm just being very... Ooh. Awaiting input. We could maybe put something in there? Ooh. We received an input! There we go! We pressed a button! Bet Stanley's happy about that. Is there anything else we need to press? No, it would seem not. That's it. Input received and, nothing else. At least it doesn't seem like there's anything else. Oh well, let's move on. Can't go that way. Can't go that way. Guess we're just gonna have to go through the open door to oblivion. We can open it back, so we can always backtrack. There is a picture of a leaf. And a spilt coffee! Who could have done this? Jim, did you spill the coffee? Not that you're here to clean it up, that is. But hey, you might have spilled it. So, when we come back, folks, I'll see maybe if Stanley can clean this up. I'm not sure that he can. I mean, we haven't seen anything around to actually clean this up, and we haven't even seen a sink, so how are we going to clean it up? Oh, the mind boggles, Stanley. It's not like you've got anything more important or pressing you need to do. Nah, I don't think you do. So, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. For we shall explore more of the parable that is Stanley. And also, isn't this a nice shade of carpet? Wouldn't everybody just want carpet like this? Maybe not. So, I'll catch you then, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.